Welcome to the Phil Tompkins Distinguished Lecture Series. I happen to be Phil Tompkins. I am a fellow of the International Communication Association. I am past president of that same organization, ICA, and I have won honors, but the greatest honor that I have ever received is this Phil Tompkins Distinguished Lecture Series. Now let me tell you how my career began. It began here at Purdue University, working on a doctoral degree, which I received in 1962. The fields it was the Department of Speech, however. It had not yet become the Department of Communication, or let alone a School of Communication. Yes, it was the Department of Speech, and therefore I studied classical rhetoric because, as you all know, the first academic discipline in ancient Greece was rhetoric, the art of persuasion. It was important to democracy, and we're a democratic country. So I studied classical rhetoric, and graduate students at Purdue invited the great theorist, critic, Kenneth Burke to come to Purdue to teach us about the new rhetoric, with identification as being a key part, along with persuasion. But I concentrated on an emerging field being developed by a professor at Purdue in the speech department named W. Charles Redding. It has become what we now know as organizational communication. He was my advisor. He advised me also to take economics and statistics and sociology, and then I went on to look for a job in the field. Only 4 years later, NASA, the National Aeronautic and Space Administration, asked Charles Redding for a recommendation for someone to serve as a consultant in communication to NASA. He gave them my name, and I became the first soft scientist to serve in that position. I was assigned to the Marshall Space Flight Center, the largest of all NASA field centers at that time, because we were doing the final research and development on the Saturn V, the moon rocket. Dr. von Braun was the director, the top rocket genius of all time. And he said to me, "Phil, go out and interview the people in our organization and find out where the communication problems are, and then help us try to solve them." I did that, but while doing it, I also discovered a communication practice which I consider the most brilliant and effective one I have ever encountered to this day. I wrote about it in 1977 in a couple of articles in communication monographs. I have written about it in books. I have lectured about it all these years. Only lately did I realize, however, that experts in other fields are now calling the Monday Notes the secret of the success of the Apollo program. And personally, I am also thankful that this work helped another Purdue graduate, Neil Armstrong, get to the moon and back safely. Yes, go up, boilers. About the same time, there was a literary sensation in the United States. It was called In Cold Blood, about the mass murder of a beautiful family in western Kansas. The author, Truman Capote, said he was writing it as a nonfiction novel. A new literary genre Every word was true. As a native Kansan, I read the book a couple of times and thought, he's made some small mistakes. I'd better go out. I had also learned a method at Purdue, the method of replication. So I picked up, drove to western Kansas, and interviewed everybody Capote interviewed. I also studied the legal documents and wrote an article in cold fact. When I approached Esquire magazine about publishing it, they said that would be wonderful, but you need to explain why he changed the facts. And I said, my rhetorical training allows me to do that. The title of the book is not about the murder of the Clutters. In Cold Blood is about capital punishment. Hence, he had to make the killer more a person that one could identify with. Well, during this period, we were undergoing a great revolution, not often seen in the academic world. We went from the field of speech to the field of communication. Where was Purdue? Moving from a department of speech to a department of communication to a school of communication, and helping us lead the way. Now we have not only organizational communication, but we have mass communication, interpersonal communication, health communication, and so on. And so I am here today to say thank you to Purdue for allowing me to participate in your great revolution.